amazing human beings, how are you? I hope this finds you well. Excuse me, I've got a hot water bottle on my hip. I'm in a bit of pain and discomfort at the moment. So I wanted to do a plan with me in December and show you how I'm planning and how I'm breaking it all down. There are quite a lot of moving parts in this, and it's a mixture of paper and on my laptop digital. So to break it all down, I think there's like 5 moving parts to it all. It all starts in my journal. I flick through what I've written through and highlighted during the previous month with the goals that I had planned and that I've been working on. Notes or things that I wanted to work on for the new month. And so yeah, everything starts in my journal. So I've previously flicked through all of this. I have this massive, really large sticky pad that is really great for brain dumping that I find. So I have this to do my brain dump on, and then once I've done my brain dump, I have it's just a doodle pad, and I then break everything from my brain dump into this A4 pad so I can see it broken down much more clearly. I also have a set of different coloured little square paper that I use to jot things down. I usually use these as day-to-day lists. This actually lives on my dressing table in my bedroom, and I usually use this to write day-to-day things to do, but I like it sometimes to have a clear definition of what I'm doing. For example, like I put my monthly goals on it. I usually stick it in, but I know I didn't stick this one in, so I broke down my November goals onto it just so I can see it in person. I like tangible actions first. I like to be able to see it in paper and then be able to break it down on my computer and stuff later on. I also have these little sticky post-its, which I didn't really use this time. I used them on and off, but I didn't really use them this time. My other bits of paper were what worked, so I'm going to put these in my drawer. Out of sight, out of mind, and tidy. So primarily this is what I'm working with in the paper aspect of doing this. And then digitally I'm working with Notion and my iCalendar. That's all I'm working with on my computer. As I said, I start by going through my journal, and also one of the other things that I do is I have a big picture thing, I don't even know how to describe it, on my Notion, where I have, you know, like my future, what my big picture plan basically was for this year, like the last half of this year. And so I'm working from that. So I look at that to help me make all of this work. That's how I do that on paper. So as you'll see, I basically start off by going into my Notion and I create my goals for my month, going from, you know, what I've read, the previous month's goals, what I didn't get done or didn't get finished, and then I have a look and decide what I want to follow over, what still fits in with my big picture, what doesn't, what's, you know, a life thing, what's a business thing, and I try and an average of like 5 or so goals, so I'm not overwhelmed and it's not too much. So once I've done that, I then go and pull up my sticky pad and I just have a massive brain dump and get everything out of those goals and the things that are in my head and the things that were in my journal, and just dump it all on the sticky pad so I can see where I need to focus on. And for December, I got it down to sort of like 4 to 5 projects that I want to be working on for the month. Technically 6, 7, if you include personal things as well. And I also have my kind of like a draft rough version of my big picture plan on one of my big sticky notes with some little sticky notes attached to it to help me see things a bit more clearly, so I'm aware of what's going on, because as I said, I do like paper stuff as well as digital. So yeah, if you want to see my actual goals for December, then check out my November December goal reset plan with me, where I kind of go through that, broken down the business aspects of what I'm working on into 4 parts. I've got it broken down into my books that I'm working on. I finally finished the first draft of Project MJ, my first full-length non-fiction book. Is currently just over 52,000 words, and I'm super excited to start working on the second draft, because I wrote the first 10,000 words way back in 2022, so it feels like it's a good idea. For journals, I have my self-love journal to finish, and then I have put it down as Substack, but I'm still 50-50 on Substack and whether or not I'm going to be putting all my content into Substack. And there are 4 Mondays in December, so I've got 4 Monday musing posts to go out, and then I have an idea for a tiny course called Zen in the Inbox, which isn't actually about having a 0 inbox. It's not necessarily even about your inbox as email. It's about your inbox to life and about applying mindfulness towards it. And yeah, that's a 10 module thing that I was thinking of putting on Substack. The bulk of that would happen this month as well. And then my 4th project that is business related is YouTube. Right now, I think I'm putting all my eggs into my YouTube basket, because I enjoy creating YouTube content and it just feels a lot more creative for me than blogging and podcasting right now. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. And I've got some videos already recorded of my writing diaries, so I need to blast through editing those, and I need to check how many I've actually already got recorded and need editing. And then I'm estimating about 8 to 9 videos to plan through December's content, and that was all in my brain dump. So then you'll see on my A4 piece of paper that I've then broken those 4 categories down into columns. I've just literally folded up the paper into 4 columns to just break it all down, really, to then figure out how everything's going to work. My goal is to complete the second draft of Project MJ, my book. So basically I have to go through and edit, rewrite part of each chapter in Project MJ. So there, not including the introduction, there are 22 chapters, so the 23 chapters including the introduction. So I've got the second draft of that to do, which I really want to do that this month. And then I broke down the Zen in the Inbox course that could be on Substack as well. I broke that down into modules, and then the same with YouTube. I broke that down into how many videos I had left, so it was a lot of back and forth between checking on my computer and, you know, checking in Notion templates that I created, Notion notebooks and things like that, all the ideas and content and stuff that I put in there, and breaking those down. And then the same with creating my journal. It's actually a much bigger step, but I've already created the prompts, I've already created the lined pages. I just need to add the quotes, the questions, the journal prompts into the pages. So yeah, and so I literally only have 4 steps for that. I also wrote a little goals sticker there that I didn't actually end up putting anything on, but that was just trying to help keep me accountable. I'm planning on sticking this up on my wall somewhere near my desk or my window or something, so I can just cross things off or tick things off or highlight things as I go through and do it. I then went through and decided that I I want to blast through this in a good way, not in a bad way. I find that the best way for me to work is to dedicate big chunks of time to each project instead of being like, oh, let's just do an hour's worth of writing, or let's just do 500 words of whatever. I find it best for me to go, right, well, let's dedicate 5 hours to writing and see what gets done and things like that. So that's how I work best. So I've broken it down. For example, Project MJ, I ended up breaking that down into 3 chunks and hoping that I can do the reread and edits in 3 blocks of hopefully 5 hours through the month. So that is that broken down for me to see, which is a really good visual aid. And then the next part is actually completely on my computer, and basically what I do is I then take everything that I've created here, between, technically it's mainly just this A4 sheet of paper that I need, and so what I need to do is I need to convert this into chunks of time on my calendar, my digital calendar, so I can see what I've got to be doing and when I've got to be doing it, and estimating the length of time that it takes me to do these tasks and things. So I'm planning on doing a video hopefully this month, but it could be January, about why it's important to track your time, and if that's something you're interested in, keep your eyes peeled for that. But also I have an energy tracker that you can download for £5. It's a Notion energy tracker template that can help you keep an eye on your energy levels. You can use it for every day, and you can use it for a week, so you can see, you know, how your energy fluctuates and changes, for example. Because I've found that tracking my time, I know that while I have more physical energy in the morning, so I can work out, I can go for a walk, I can, you know, clean the house, that's all stuff I can do in the morning, I'm more creative mentally in an afternoon. So afternoons are my prime creativity time, which is great for when I, you know, to know that that's a good chunk of time to know when that I can dedicate to writing or creating content or editing content, that sort of stuff. Found that out by tracking my time and tracking my energy levels with my energy tracker. So I'll leave the links to the energy tracker below if you're interested in it. So the not so fun part now is to convert all of this stuff into my calendar. Get this ready to record the screen so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. So this is my December calendar, and this is what it looks like. So what you don't see on here is my husband's calendar, which I try and align my calendar with my husband's calendar when possible. As you can see, for this week I have like days off highlighted. They're my husband's days off, so I try and clear my schedule as much as possible so I can hang out with my husband, which is a very privileged luxurious thing that I can do, which I'm grateful for. So what I'm actually going to do is put in my appointment calendar, I'm going to put in when my co-writing events are, because there's only 2 this month, and Amy is normally super kind and she actually puts them in a Google calendar, but I don't do Google because it doesn't sync with my doesn't sync with, I can't type and talk. I'm not multi-talented. I can't link, I can't sync, that's why. There we go. I can't sync my calendar, my Google calendar, my husband's work calendar with my Google calendar for some reason. So I know there's one on Wednesday, and I think the other one is the 13th or the 14th. I think it's the 13th. So it's 3:30 until 5. And as you can see, that this week's is going swimmingly. So well. I have a bunch of calendars listed here. So I have a family calendar, and that is actually like my mum and my stepdad when we used to all sync calendars, but we don't really do that anymore because I work from home, my mum works set hours, and my stepdad is retired, so we don't really use that. Then my husband's other calendar was kind of like this. I think this was his personal calendar, and we just don't use it. So I have a YouTube calendar to help me plan out my YouTube content. My CTL calendar doesn't exist anymore. I haven't deleted it because it was something else before CTL, so it does have content still in there from other times if you want to go back and look at stuff. So I can always just rename it any other time. So AGM is generally where a lot of my content will come under. That isn't YouTube stuff, and self-care, self-explanatory, but I do put stuff like washing my hair and going for a walk and painting my nails and going for lunch as self-care. I have a housework one when sometimes it's stuff that I forget and stuff needs doing, like the bins, but I don't have that on right now because you don't need to see it. My appointments one is obviously my most important one because that's like those are really important appointments, and I will put doctor's appointments in the appointments calendar and stuff as well. Have my ideal day, which I can talk about more in another video if you're interested in seeing, and then I have my husband's work rota, which I'm not showing. And then sometimes to make it easier, I have stuff at the top to help me plan my days. Like today's a content creation day, so you know that is recording content, that is writing my Monday's musings letters, editing content, making sure the Monday musings newsletter goes out, creating slides for another video, and having an idea for another video. And I generally give myself 30-minute blocks for some of these things. Sometimes they could be less, but with iCal you generally can only give yourself like 15 minutes of space or time. Yeah, see, that one's 15 minutes. So that is what I do. So I am very lucky as well that I am able to plan my week around a 4-day week, and I do that because it's actually a 5-day week, but I never know when I'm going to be sick and unwell, so I try and shove all my work into 4 days, and then I have 3 days if I need to be ill, and stuff like that. And if I'm not ill, then I can spread the work out a bit more. It's just one of those things. So Tuesday is generally a writing day. I need to finish editing some videos because I'm really behind with my videos. And I generally give myself an hour and a half for editing videos, which is what that is, chunk there. And then I've done the same on the Friday. Sometimes I will put in what I want the video to be to edit. I think I'm going to come back to that for the moment. I'm just going to put record something and leave it there. That should be an hour. Yeah, that's fine. Because really I'm not sure where I'm breaking up. Oh, I think I'm breaking up here on the Wednesday the 20th because my mother-in-law and father-in-law are coming to visit on the 21st, and then it's Christmas time. So I love the duplicate function because it makes it so much easier. So I like this part of my digital planner compared to having it on paper or having it in a weekly planner, because it just means that I can easily go in and shift things around and move things around. For example, I'm going to move today around because obviously things are taking slightly longer than expected. So I am just going to duplicate the finish recording video and put it where it is now, and then I'm going to jiggle things around a bit. Move things around a little bit, and this is also why sometimes I leave gaps in my calendar as well, so I can go through and I can change things around and I can decide what I want to go where. This Thursday I don't have any client stuff, so I filled that in with sorting out some journal stuff,